September 7, 2014, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. It's the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The big story early on was no Cam Newton, as Derek Anderson got the start for the Panthers. And on the Panthers' first possession, they went 3 and out, as this game was all about defense throughout. So after each team traded punts, the Bucs had the ball for the second time this game as they started the drive on their own 4-yard line. Lane ripped a run for 54 yards as the Bucs crossed midfield. 2 plays later, though, Josh McCown was picked off by Cason. Logan Mankins was called for a penalty on the play, but it was declined. Mankins would end up leaving the game due to injury. Sad to say for Bucs fans later on. So the Panthers took over on their 31 and took full advantage of the turnover, turning it into 7 points 9 minutes later as Derek Anderson hit Greg Olsen for a 5-yard touchdown pass to make it 7-0 Carolina. Each team went back to trading punts as defense was excellent in this NFC South battle. Then, with less than 2 minutes left in the half, the Panthers had the ball on their own 43 to start their drive and would come away with a field goal just before halftime as Gano hit a 28-yarder to make it 10-0 Carolina. The Bucs would drive into Panthers territory on their first drive of the second half, but a huge sack on 3rd and 12 by Kuechly forced a punt. The Panthers would punt the ball back to the Bucs, but the Bucs, as they were approaching midfield, trouble ensued as McCown fumbled. He recovered his own fumble, and then he tossed the pick as Harper got the interception. The Panthers would turn the turnover into 7 points just as they had early in the game. This time it was Kelvin Benjamin as he caught a 26-yard touchdown pass from Anderson to make the score 17-0 Panthers. This is the first touchdown of Benjamin's young career as he is a rookie. The Panthers drafted him in the first round in May, actually. The Bucs then went 3 and out, and the Panthers marched into field goal range, but Gano missed a 48-yard kick. The Bucs would use the opportunity to score their first points of the game as Josh McCown hit Owusu for a 19-yard touchdown pass a little over 2 minutes later to make it a 10-point game as the Bucs now trailed 17-7 with about 7.5 minutes left to play. Gerald McCoy would come up with a big sack on 3rd and 3, and the 9-yard loss led to a Panthers punt. Josh McCown then marched the Bucs into the end zone in just over 2 minutes for the second consecutive drive as he connected this time with Bobby Rainey for a 6-yard touchdown pass to make it a 3-point game with the score now 17-14. The Bucs defense then held the Panthers and forced another punt. The Bucs now had the ball with a chance to win with less than 2 minutes on the clock and 68 yards to the end zone. It's closer to about a minute and a half. They only needed a field goal, though, to send it into overtime. The first play was a penalty false start, and the next play would be 1st and 15. McCown found Rainey over the middle, but Luke Kuechly blew him up and forced a fumble that was recovered by Ben Wickery, and the Panthers would get the ball. They gained 8 yards. Gano then kicked a 33-yard field goal with less than 30 seconds left in regulation, which would all but seal the victory with the score now 20-14. The Bucs had one last chance, but the Panthers would hold them, and the game came to a close moments later with the score 20-14. The Panthers hold on to win, even without Cam Newton. And in this game, Derek Anderson, in replacement of Cam Newton, was 24 for 34 with 230 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Josh McCown was 22 of 35 with 183 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. DeAngelo Williams was the game's leading rusher with 14 carries for 72 yards, and Kelvin Benjamin, in his first start, was the game's leading receiver with 92 yards off of 6 receptions, including a touchdown. This game was all about defense. Cason had 9 tackles along with that interception and 2 passes defended. Kuechly had 9 tackles as well, 7 of which were solo tackles. He had a sack and 2 tackles for loss, as well as a QB hit. Lavonte David had 10 tackles, and 2 of those were for losses and a QB hit. Greg Hardy had 4 tackles and a sack. So it's good defense on both sides. But it was those turnovers that ended up being costly as this game came down to just 2 field goals, just 6 points. The Panthers win in Tampa Bay 20-14.